Last week, a student came to us saying that he was not able to get a bandage for a cut on his hand. He had tried going to a number of different student services looking for a bandage, but without any luck. But when we went looking for answers, we thought it was a little bit odd that some of the places he went told us that they didn't even have a first aid kit. Hi, sorry, I just got a paper cut on my finger. I was wondering if I could get a Band-Aid.
We don't have Band-Aids.
I mean, like, you guys don't have a first aid kit or something? Aren't you guys supposed to?
I don't know. I've asked for one. We're going to get this one soon, but we don't have one right now. If you want, you can go to the security office. We have one.
Okay, thanks.
Sorry.
Yes, sir.
Hi, I just got like a paper cut on my finger. I was wondering if I could get like a Band-Aid or something for it.
We don't have it here, I'm sorry.
Don't you guys have like a first aid kit or something? You can just get me a Band-Aid?
No,
You don't have a first aid kit?
not even.
Alright, thanks. It struck us as a bit odd because according to the Workplace Safety and Insurance Act of 1997, Section or Regulation 1101, Section 8, it states that every employer employing not more than 5 workers in any one shift at a place of employment shall provide and maintain at the place of employment a first aid station with a first aid box. This means that the places the student visited and then we looked into should have had a first aid kit. However, when I spoke to the Department of Occupational Health and Safety, this is what they had to say.
York is obviously a large employer, so we are actually required to have a first aid room.
Okay.
And then it says somewhere, again, I don't have it right in front of me, but it explains that if your first aid room is not immediately available to all persons, then you must also have first aid stations. And so that is why we actually have, the first aid room is actually right beside me. And it's fully equipped with everything that's listed in that regulation.
Okay.
And then in addition, we have many, many first aid stations.
While speaking to the DOHS, I raised a few concerns regarding first aid accessibility to students and staff. This is what the DOHS had to say.
They've been set up as per Regulation 1101 for workers. We are a teaching institution, and I think it's a good thing to consider as well. So, because you've mentioned it, I've contacted Health Promotion and Education too. We've just sort of missed each other's calls, and I'm going to be mentioning it as well to our medical consultant because he's the one that is advising us as to, how many stations per number of people in a certain area and that kind of a thing, right? So you want to go above and beyond just what the regulation tells you to do. And I think the piece that's missing is that when someone goes to the Lost and Found at the library kiosk, they should provide that information that if they need access to a first aid station, which would have the kit in particular, then they could just be directed to a location that would be in the building.
As it turns out, the library does in fact have a first aid station, and this is what happened when I went in search of a bandage. Excuse me. Hi, I just got a little cut on my hand. I was wondering if you guys have bandages for it?
No, I'm sorry.
Do you know where like the first aid station is or something?
You should have a first aid station, right? I don't know. I don't even know if you have one. Why don't you ask the welcome services?
Okay. Hey. Yeah, I got a cut on my hand. I was wondering if you know where the first aid station is?
Sorry, now. Do you have like a first aid station? Oh, a patient has got his finger.
It's more of like an open scab, but...
Oh, okay, awesome. Okay, no problem. Thank you, Larry. Okay, if you go, you see where the vending machine is? In the corner there?
Yeah.
Go there and make a left. That's where my supervisor's office is.
Okay, thanks.
That's you. Where are you?
Are you looking for a Band-Aid?
Yeah, I just
Yeah.
got a cut or something on my hand.
Okay. Oh, that's a small one. Let me. So this is not from a first aid kit because if it was, we would have to do a first aid report.
Oh,
So
okay.
these are my personal Band-Aids.
Oh, thanks.
Okay?
Where are the first aid stations, by the
There
way?
is a first aid station here,
Yeah.
okay? So the board is right there,
Mhm.
and it will give you a list, the
Oh.
first aiders and the stations.
Oh, I'm just curious, like in the future, if I get a cut, yeah.
Yeah, so it's, you cannot always call the desk or go to the desk and then they can help you, okay?
The front desk?
Yeah, the welcome service desk, just like he called me.
Mhm.
So if this was a first aid accident, then you would go there and then someone would attend.
Oh, okay.
Okay?
Cool, thank you.
Okay.
To sum it all up, York University is one large workplace. This means that they don't need first aid kits at every place of employment on the campus, but rather can make use of first aid stations and the first aid room. This is meeting the requirements of the Workplace Safety and Insurance Act. Now, when I spoke to the Department of Occupational Health and Safety, they took some of my concerns into consideration and as such are looking into improving accessibility to first aid for staff and students.